Hello, Gun Nation. Says I am live. Looks like we got Lynn Holt on here and Ranger 10. Lynn is saying, well, the O-Hunt is still being vetted. It won't fit a direct cut. The plate does. The sight is too big. Gonna mount on another with an acro plate. Mine came with an acro plate, and mine is milled for an R. It was an RMR to an acro because mine is milled for an RMR or SRO. So the plate just kind of snapped right down in there. I had to press it, but it was a perfect tight fit, which I liked. So it won't move around, and then it went right to the plate. So I don't know about the direct mount. Haven't tried that to an acro mount. Hello, reloading from the hot pot. How are you? Pistol Pete. It is freaking hot. That's for sure. It's very, very hot. But yeah, I figured this evening, I mean, we could talk about guns too, but I figured we'd talk about cars, whiskey, life. There's some good news as of right now that I wanted to let y'all know about in the car. Well, Supreme Court. I haven't really heard anybody talk about this, and I know the political channels aren't really on to this, so I'll get into it here in just a minute. But this can help. It can kind of push things our way, and it's not a negative thing, but I knew that once the Supreme Court heard it, we would have a leg to stand on. But this affects multiple things, so I'll get into it here in a minute. Dirt Track, how are you? Let's see here. Also, I do want to go ahead and let y'all know this. Next Wednesday, I will not have a chat. I'm going to be doing presentations for most of the day with customers or with a particular customer with multiple groups. And then we're going to dinner with the customers. So next Wednesday is probably not going to happen. I might do like a Tuesday night or a Friday night or something to make up for it. We'll figure it out. Because it's going to be going on Wednesday night and Thursday. It's like a big reception thing Wednesday night, and then Thursday is the big presentation day actually. Hello, Trigger Bar. How are you? Pistol Pete. I like some of the features of the new M&P they dropped this week. Yes, I saw it. I guess they dropped 3 of them: the full size, the compact, and then the shield. So I think that is a pretty cool. Looks pretty cool. I like the porting. If you're not going to add a comp on the end, I do like the porting, and they're probably wanting to keep it kind of standard so it'll still fit in existing holsters, which I totally get. I do like the new serrations, so I think that's a good option, and of course optic ready. So I think they're on the right track for sure, and that gives people another option or a valid option to buy. So there's nothing wrong with that. And of course they're American made, and lifetime warranty. Lake Ozark guys in the house. But yeah, I think M&P will probably have a winner. I think they've got the metal. Now they've got the metal, all metal carry gun, which could be cool for a lot of people. When I shot the metal one, just being honest with you, when I shot the metal one, I couldn't tell a huge difference. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. I thought the metal one had a little more recoil, just a little bit more felt recoil, because the polymer, it's not absorbing as much. And that's kind of what happens in a polymer grip. That's why Staccato's chosen to do that, because even with my metal 2011s, my metal grip 2011s, I feel, and I'm not recoil sensitive, so don't take it that way, but I feel a little bit more in the grip on the metal grips versus the polymer grip. And everybody should know that's how it works. So, VA director just said would not comply with the laws Congress passed regarding vets keeping their firearms just because they have PTSD. Really? Whew. Hello, Pranic. How are you, man? Tonight we've got a big glass of Buffalo Trace. Figuring I need a big glass tonight. Pistol Pete said, I missed the chat last week about the manufacturers not doing anything. It's definitely CZ, and that kills me to say. Yeah, I mean, like I laid it out there. I feel CZ needs to jump on board. And in my opinion, this is my opinion. I don't work there. I don't know any insiders or any of that, but in my opinion, I think that Colt is holding them back since they've kind of taken over the reins. That's just my opinion. But, I figured the P10 would already be out by now. I mean, damn, we've already had SHOT Show. They've already had their overseas one also. So I figured we'd have it by now, but we haven't. Here's kind of what I wanted to get into. We've got 19 people on here, but here's what I want to kind of get into also. If y'all aren't familiar with the Clean Air Act, that was going to hurt a lot of industrial companies. That was going to, power plants. And everybody thought it was pretty much only industrial, but it wasn't. It was actually heavy duty vehicles, heavy duty engines. Okay, and when I say heavy duty engines, that also means V8s for performance, things like that. So they were really going to start cracking down on that. And the EPA was just throwing out these laws and saying, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that and we're going to do this. Well, the Supreme Court came in and said, not so fast, buddy. So they did block it. And I think that's great. They didn't completely shut it down, but they blocked it. But they only blocked it it was only a 5-4 win. So it wasn't like blowing it out of the water. So, hope nobody flip flops or anything like that. But, because a lot of companies were doing away with V8s and high performance engines and things like that, and going to V6 twin turbos and all this other crap, trying to pull out more, more clean energy. And if you really plug up a V8, a stock V8 that puts out pretty good power, their emissions are actually very minimal. And a lot of the diesels, trust me, I think it's a freaking waste. The fluid, God dang, I can't even think. Sorry. The diesel fluid that you have to, DEF fluid, the DEF fluid, I think that's ridiculous. I think it's bullshit. I think it's a gimmick. And it actually it really starves horsepower and things like that from a lot of the diesels. But, it's just another gimmick. It's kind of like ethanol in our gas. That's just bullshit, and it's a gimmick. Take it from somebody who knows it's complete bullshit. And actually, we spend more to produce ethanol than we did for just regular gas, real gas. So, and you don't get the performance rating out of ethanol that you can out of real gas unless you do a lot of tuning and things like that. But anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. But this was going to be very detrimental and could really hurt, or was hurting, the V8 industry and a lot of the performance industry. That's why everybody was like, oh my gosh, we got to make this 4-banger and we got to make this 6-cylinder. We got to make EVs and we got to do this. And, that's fine that they're doing that. But if you want a factory muscle car, or if you want a high performance car, or if you want a V8 that has a shitload of torque and can pull and do different things, that was really hurting the truck industry because of that. So I think it's good that we've got this block. I don't know if it's going to be permanent, but this is again shutting down the alphabet agencies, the EPA, ATF, like we all talk about, FBI, all that stuff. So I think this was a good blow to them and letting them know, hey, you just can't make up shit and try to put it in place. All right, sorry. I'll catch back up here real quick. I know I missed some people. Let's see. We got Bald and Curious. What's up, man? How are you? Yeah, DEF fluid. I was having a brain fart. Sorry. I like 4 cylinders and economy. DEF equals urine. Yeah, it's worthless. Cow piss. Yep. That DEF crap is the biggest ripoff. One of the main reasons I don't have a diesel. Yep, it's trash. Hello, Disastrous Effect. How are you, sir? DEF good is for drug testing. EPA is worse than the ATF. Yeah, they are. I've been in the car industry for quite a long time, and EPA is horrible. So, but they're definitely snakes, man. They're not needed. But anyway, I just wanted to, I haven't heard anybody talk about that. And, that's good for my industry because, think about the Toyota Tundras or the new Tundras. they went away from the V8s and went to the V6s. Now they've got a major engine recall on those because the main bearings, had basically shrapnel. They're saying that it was machining, like slivers that were in there, but I call bullshit on that. The slivers, because you're putting in fresh, clean bearings into the engine. You're not going to put in slivers. I think it wasn't lined up properly, and I think those bearing slivers came from the bearings they put in it. So I think they seated it too tightly, and it actually made its own metal, is what I think. You don't add slivers when you're building an engine to every freaking one out there. However, if you don't put the correct bearing mic in there, like they're not mic'd properly, they're going to make their own metal when they do normal break-in. So, and you can have slight slivers. That's normal for normal break-in. But when you start actually extracting metal in its chunks and big slivers, it can clog up oil screens and things like that. That's not a good thing. So anyway, they're going to be recalling engines. That's going to cost them a fortune. That is not good. Even their Tacomas are cratering, their new Tacomas. Transmissions are falling out of them. Front drive shafts are letting loose. When you put it in four-wheel drive, I mean, it's a mess. So, and granted, they're depending on vendors to make those things properly and to their spec. Those vendors could have made them incorrect specs. So there's a lot of liability there, but that's not a good thing. So hopefully, maybe Toyota now will go back to the V8s if this stays. DEF is a exhaust fluid that you add to diesels. It's a bunch of horse shit. You can just Google it. I don't want to get into the weeds, but yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. Hello, Brian. How are you? Let's see here. Shoddy bearing material is my guess. Yeah, and like I said, or they're not the right spec. So if something's not the right spec and you're jamming shit together, it's going to wear. You're going to peel it apart. That's the thing, Pistol Pete. That can't catch everything, especially with a lot of aluminum heads and a lot of aluminum being put in engines now. Aluminum won't stick to magnets. Now, I'm not saying the bearings are aluminum because they're not, but it's just drain plugs just aren't enough. And by that time, it's being pulled through the oil. And also, once you get so much metal on a magnetic drain plug, if you've ever pulled apart, which maybe a lot of y'all haven't, when you drop the oil pan, some of the manufacturers actually put a big round magnet in the bottom of the steel pan. So, as your oil is circulating through there, the metal is actually going onto the magnet that's stuck onto the oil pan. However, once you get enough metal on it, metal won't stick on top of metal. So once the magnet can only pull so much. But yeah, a lot of manufacturers put a big magnet in the bottom of the oil pan. I pulled apart tons of engines and seen that. That's kind of old school trick. And when I used to build race engines back in the day, I actually put magnets in oil pans too, just to be on the extra cautionary side. Let me catch back up. This thing kicked everything back up. No, I wouldn't buy the Tesla Cybertruck, man. That thing is not good. You should see how much. Well, maybe you do, maybe you have, but they've already decreased in value. You can buy them now. I've seen some used, very lightly used, already for $65,000. So they had a huge plummet from $110,000. So that's not good either. Yep, the Chevron was released. Yep. Yeah, that's because everybody's trying to pump them out, Brian. I mean, Ford lost their ass on them. There's a lot of manufacturers, and now they're flipping the script. That's why Toyota, if you really dig down deep into it, Toyota didn't go deep into the EVs. They went into hybrids, and that was a smart thing to do. So, good on them for that. However, they're dealing with another thing now. Yeah, that big magnet on the pan has been around forever. Yeah, I saw a Cybertruck the other day and it was wrapped. It had a big wrap on it and it was like a camo green, kind of different looking, but I'm not really sold on that vehicle. I've seen a lot of Ford trucks and Chevy trucks pulling those things out of sand. What's up, Floridian? How are you? Just buy a Camry and move on. Yeah, I mean, Toyota makes great vehicles. I would never knock a Toyota, but man, this new Tundra engine, and this new Tacoma is not looking real good for them. But I'm sure they'll turn it around. Toyota makes, like I said, they normally make great products. I'm not here to bash Toyota. Everybody can go through bullshit. I went through the 604 transmissions with Dodge on the Caravans back in the day. I mean, I've been through the neon head gaskets. I mean, I've been through all kinds of shit with manufacturers back in the day. So, you know, everybody can have their growing pains, especially when they go to a new engine or a new transmission or something like that that's state of the art. You can have issues. Oh, let's see here. But anyway, we'll kick that out. And also, the my company truck is at the body shop. It was dropped off today, so hopefully they can get that, fixed up pretty quickly. It wasn't anything major. It was just some cosmetic and headlight. Uh, I'll show you the new truck when I get it, or the newer truck. It's new to me. Um, it's got the projection HED or HD headlight, the projection model, and then it's got the big projection beam on the bottom for the turn signal and stuff, and the floodlight built into it. So apparently that was broken. So that's getting replaced, but they're not cheap, as you can imagine. So that's getting replaced, but all factory parts going back with it. So hopefully they can turn it and burn it pretty quickly. And then I'll be flying down to pick it up. So, and then driving it back, which is a really, really long drive. It's going to be about a 15-hour drive. So I might do a little, might stop off at some places and, check some places out and maybe do a little filming of kind of like, road tripping if y'all want to see something like that. I've been wanting to branch out on my channel. I love guns and gear, and y'all know that. But, also kind of want to, do some other things. That's kind of why I listed this as guns, or excuse me, cars, whiskey, and life. Um, there's a lot more to me than just guns. Um, I had been kind of talking about this and hinting about this, quite a while back. And y'all know that I love to barbecue and stuff like that. So been kind of wanting to, mix it up a little bit. So if y'all want to, see that kind of stuff, that's cool. If you're like, nah, we're not interested in that, I understand. And I'm not saying I'm going to bombard y'all with that, but I do want to kind of mix it up a little bit, try some, maybe badass food places or something like that. Take y'all along for it if you want to see it. I might even put it on the other channel, some of those kind of things. But it's car related, because just to let y'all know, we've got some really cool cars that are coming out. Um, we're already building some parts for them. Um, some of them are pretty badass, and some of them are old school cars that they're bringing back. So I'm like, okay, I'm kind of about that. So I think it's going to be kind of cool. I can't really say a lot, but it is. Well, I can say the manufacturers. It's Chevrolet, it's Dodge, and it's Ford. So they've got some cool vehicles coming down the pike that I think some people will be like, oh, okay, yep, they're bringing it back. So I think that's kind of cool. So um, let me head back up here real quick. Oh, I like the way Lynn thinks. Hit that thumbs up. Yeah, I appreciate it. What's up, Rich B? How are you, man? All right, let me catch back up. Yeah, I mean there are a lot of EVs piled up. Matter of fact, I can say this because it's public knowledge. Uh, the Ford Mach 1 EV, if y'all have seen it, it doesn't look like a Mach 1 Mustang, but that's their EV Mustang. They have $368 days worth of builds on the ground. So that's it's almost a year, or it is just sitting. I mean, nobody's buying them. So, you've got that too. Um, I mean, that's the number one that's in the hole right now. But there's a lot of those just sitting, literally sitting. Pranic says, I like cars, barbecue, and BS too. That's kind of, I want to do a little bit of that too. Also, I was on 1776's chat. He started a new chat called the Thinkers Chat, and we talked about toxic masculinity. And over there, we all said our real names. That's the way that he wanted to do it. So, and I'll go ahead and tell y'all because y'all are family. If y'all want to know, my real name is Mike. So, you don't have to go over there and find out my name. I'm going to tell y'all. But anyway, I've always gone by Big J or Big Johnson. I mean, all the way from high school and younger. And the whole reason is my dad is way shorter than me. So he used to be Big Johnson when I was a little bitty kid, and I was Little Johnson. Well, shit, I was probably 11 years old, and I was already taller than my dad. So they started calling me Big Johnson and calling him Little Johnson, and that pissed him off. But anyway, so that's been a nickname I've had since literally I was 11 or 12 years old, so it just stuck. But my real name is Mike. So if anybody wants to know that, it wasn't a huge secret. I think it had already been popped out on some chats before, but I'll go ahead and tell you that. But yeah, on his chat, we actually went by our real names. So Chevy Sprint, yeah. Let's see here. Extra road wear too. I want to see more grilling. Enjoy your prep process and cooking techniques. Yeah, and I enjoy that. Over the 4th of July, I cooked some hamburgers, some kebabs. They came out awesome. I am going to be doing a tri-tip pretty soon. I might even do it this weekend. I just don't know yet, but I'm going to be doing a tri-tip. I've got some ribs coming up. Did pick up a diffuser that I probably show, and I bought it, but I'll probably show the diffuser that I'm going to be using. And this is, what I'm trying to do. I don't have my big offset smoker anymore. I got rid of it a long time ago. So I try to use products that anybody can use and buy. So I'm a huge Weber kettle guy. I've had Webers, man, I've been working with Weber since I was 10 or so years old. But I've also had offset smokers and bigger smokers, but I don't have those anymore because I just don't have the room for it, and I don't want to pile wood up everywhere and monitor fires forever. I still use wood in my cooks. It's chunk wood. But anyway, so I'll be doing some baby back ribs, tri-tip. Let's see here. What else do I have? I've got some picanha. So I'll be doing some more picanha. I've got some ribeyes. So I will be doing some ribeyes, some more sausage. And this is all from Old Town Meat Market, my local butcher. That's where I get all of my meat. So he has awesome stuff. Also, I'm going to do some chicken wings and some chicken. I'm going to do like some old school barbecue chicken. These are just kind of some plans that I have. So if y'all want to tune in, I will try to film more of that. So there you go. They are. That's one of them. So I can go ahead and say it. But yes, they are bringing back the Ranchero. The Ranchero will actually be cheaper than the Maverick. They're trying to hit that truck market, or truck is what they say. However, that is not a truck frame. That's a unibody, just like the Maverick. I call a truck if it has a real truck frame. However, to a lot of people, that is a truck. But yes, they are bringing that back. The front of it, honestly, I'll just go ahead and say it. The front of it looks between a Mustang and a Maverick. It's kind of crazy looking. It looks actually kind of cool. The price point is going to be around $20,000 is what they're trying to hit for the budget Ranchero. So that'll be cool if they hit that. Let's see here. Rich B is saying, will any of these cool new vehicles fit a 6'6" guy? That's always the issue. Well, it's a truck. The truck will. The other ones, you could be a little tight. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm 6'3", so you're taller than me. It could be a little snug. But again, like even when I drive my wife's car, just playing around, hot rodding around, hers is a little tighter, but I make it work because it's fun to drive. So it's kind of one of those things. If it's a daily driver for long distance, I wouldn't want some of the new ones. The truck that's coming out, yeah, it's cool. Yep, wait for it. Taxes are coming for those 3.5 ton trucks, yeah. Exactly. That is happening, Brian. You're exactly right. Yep, they're stealing everything out of them. They've already caught a whole group of them. They wiped out a whole Tesla station. I think they hit like 13 or 14 of the EV stations and ripped all the copper out of it. And I'm like, holy crap, man, that's crazy. Let's see here. Yeah, but your Ram could tow shit if it works. Yeah, my truck can tow stuff. My truck is built a little more for speed. I geared it differently in the rear. Um, it is four-wheel drive, but I changed some stuff on it to give it a little more oomph. I mean, my truck's pretty damn fast. It's not stock, but it's pretty damn fast. I said the speed one time that I had it to, and I did, speedometer won't go that high, but I checked it with GPS. So I was tracking it with GPS while I was driving it, but I won't say because it was under the speed limit. We'll just leave it at that. I had a full stand-up freezer, Brian. We used to get a half a cow. I used to split a beefalo every year with my dad, and I had a full-size stand-up freezer. Or if you have a deep freezer, you're familiar with those, I'm sure, that sit sideways where you lift the top up. I mean, you'll still have plenty of room in there, even if you get the half a cow. But yeah, half a cow or half a beefalo is well worth it, especially from a good butcher or a good processor. Let me rephrase that. Chevy Chevelle is not coming back, but they are bringing back something else. So I'll just say that. But I love the Chevelle from back in the day. Not the Chevette, but the Chevelle. I actually had a 1970 Chevelle 454 SS. Man, that was a sweet ride. It was kind of the standard one. It was the blue with the white deck stripes, but it was pretty tricked out. It was pretty tricked out on the inside, and it had a bunch of performance stuff on it. Dexter is saying, I feel like the idea is some people just need something that has a bed to pick up light loads. In reality, I'm sure is what you meant to say. Not everyone needs the big full size truck. No, you're exactly right, Dexter. No, you're exactly right. I always called it a box wagon, where you could throw some boxes, or like some potting soil or, something like that. There's nothing wrong with those. I mean, I've driven a Maverick. Believe it or not, it's not a bad vehicle. And again, I'm 6'3". I have to move the seat all the way back. So my front seat is almost touching the back seat. But I could drive it. It's not really something I would want to purchase personally, but I see a lot of people would enjoy it. It drives really good. I mean, I was real surprised with it. Yeah, if you're going to do like any serious off-roading or anything like that, you want a true truck frame. I've actually seen cracked unibodies over time where people take a unibody vehicle that doesn't have the correct suspension, and they do it in an off-road scenario, and they'll damage it. They'll crack the frame or crack the unibody. I've seen that happen before in the past. It's not common because a lot of people don't put their vehicles through what they're not designed to, but some people do it. They'll push it a little farther. So let's see here. Yeah, Pranic is industrial mechanic, electrical forklift. Cool, man. But yeah, I mean, so there's some other stuff that's coming, that I want to kind of get into and kind of show. If y'all would like to see that with the new gig, I've been seeing a lot of things that really, are cool to me, and I'd like to share with y'all if y'all are interested. I thought about throwing them up on the channel. Even seeing a lot of dealer, like owners of dealerships. I'm seeing some of their personal collection, and I'm pretty impressed with some of their collection. A lot of it is nostalgic, cool older cars and stuff like that, which I'm into. Not so much race cars. It's more of the OE, cars like 57 Chevys, which we used to have. My dad had one that was immaculate. This thing was unbelievable, black on black. I just really appreciate cars like that. I'm an older generation. Some people don't give a shit about them. I get it. But they're impressive to me because I grew up with them and working on them. And I will say that they are very easy to work on. A lot of people don't like to work on them, especially some of the new technicians, because they're just not their go-to. I also can really appreciate when you've got a resto mod where it's the old school exterior, but it's got the new school features on it. So they're fuel injected, electrified, no vacuum, LS swapped, Brembo brakes, four-wheel disc, away from drums. I really, really, really can appreciate a lot of that stuff. Now, they're heavy-ass boat anchors. Some of them are monster weight, but they've got the power to push it, and I can really appreciate vehicles like that. So, ooh. Brian is saying, did you already take the new job and already start work? Yeah, I've been with them for a month and a half now, a little over a month and a half, maybe. Ooh, okay. Chevrolet Silverado transmission just crapped out at 97,000 miles. Disappointing. Yeah, that is disappointing. Very disappointing. Especially nowadays, you think they would last a hell of a lot longer than that. But here's the way I look at it. Okay. And I've told people this before. They're like, hey, should I trade my truck in and get a new vehicle? Well, think about it. If your transmission, say, costs $3,000 or $2,500 or whatever to fix, or a little more, add that up in car payments. And if it's something that you own, man, I would fix it. I was always big about that. Because if you can get some more life out of it and you got a new transmission behind it, as long as everything else is great, then why get rid of it? Create a car payment, for another 4 or 5 or 3 years, whatever you go to. I usually try to do them within 3 years, no matter what. But yeah, I'm a big Resto Mod fan. Astro vans are cool, man. I've seen Astro vans with 350s put in them. I saw a hot rod Astro van. I've even seen Astro vans where they've put the 4-wheel drive kits in them. Astro vans were actually kind of underrated back in the day. Man, did y'all see since Pistol Pete's bringing it up, just see the driverless car that actually got in a collision? It was driverless, got in a collision, then the cops got there, and the cops didn't know what the hell to do because there was nobody to talk to. Yeah, the driverless car actually hit somebody that had it on video. It actually ran into somebody. So, and I'm a big proponent of I want my hands on the wheel. I want some control of the car or somebody driving the freaking car. Um, I know a lot of these Ubers and shit like that. You can get into them and they drive themselves, but that's just freaking weird to me. Maybe I'm old school, whatever. Stellantis, yeah. It seems that Dodge, Jeep, etc., in trouble, or Stellantis, I should say. Um, it's just right now the interest rate's so freaking high. I know a lot of people personally that want to buy vehicles, but they just can't right now because of the interest rate and they don't want to get locked into something. So I get it. But right now, Jeep and Dodge is doing okay. Um, they're not leading the pack by any rate, any reason, but they're doing okay. Rich B, what engine is it? Is it the 5.3? If it's a 5.3, you got a pretty good engine. If it's a 5.3, um, I've seen those things go 250,000 miles as long as you upkeep them. Transmissions on another thing. Also, when you do the transmission, I would highly recommend doing the U joints on the drive shaft. A lot of people won't tell you that, but I would go ahead and do it because they're going to have to pull the drive shaft anyway. They can throw some U joints in there and get that out of the way because you don't need a freaking catapult happening. And I've seen that happen after people repair the drive or repair the transmission. So, three seashells. Just pay cash, 0% interest. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing. A lot of people can pay cash for cars. Okay, I get it. But if you're looking at lines of credit and you're looking at upping your credit score, I mean, I've got a really high credit score. I'm sure maybe a lot of people do, but coughing out your personal money is not a good option right now. I would float it. You can double your payments, triple your payments, quadruple your payments. You can send in chunks. I've done that before as well. Because holding on to cash is king. So if your vehicle costs $30,000, don't dump $30,000 cash. Don't do that. Do not take $30,000 and give it to somebody else. Do not do that. Float it. I'm telling you, it's the smart move to do. I'm not a financial guru, but I'm telling you, don't pay cash for cars. Do not do that. Clyde saying, I've got a suppressor itch really bad. Looking at a rugged 30 caliber suppressor, I didn't realize they are very local to my area. That's cool. I mean, rugged has been around for a long time. I know KS has a lot of ruggeds. He really likes them. I've checked out their suppressors. Excuse me. Probably need some more whiskey. I've got allergies, and it's definitely the season here. But he really likes the rugged suppressors and has had good luck with them. So I wouldn't think that's a bad thing. Let's see here. Until they get driverless cars to the point it can pick me up at the bar and take me home without a DUI, no, thank you. Yeah, if you're going to be doing some drinking, call an Uber. Don't put yourself in that situation. Yeah, I'm not a big. I'm not a, and like I said, I could pay cash for cars, but I'm not a big believer in that. 4.3 6-cylinder, not a fan, but I do not tow. 4.3 on the Chevys, it's not a bad engine. It's really not. Rich B, it's the 5.3 is better, but the 4.6 is not bad. What you can do if you want to is you can do a compression check on it. It's super easy. You just pull out spark plugs, put a compression tool in there, turn it, bump it over. You can check the compression on it. If you change the oil regularly, you're probably good to go. So I wouldn't be super concerned with that, honestly. I just do prefer the 5.3, if you have a choice between the two. A lot of people say, oh, the V6 gets me better gas mileage and I don't tow anything. However, when you're doing stop and go traffic, it's actually harder on a 4.6 than it is on a 5.3. So, just pulling the normal weight of the truck. but I definitely would do U-joints. Ask me how I know. I always recommended it to people. Hey, if I'm going to change a transmission or rebuild it or whatever, let's go in with new U-joints. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. And then a U-joint fails because you've got high mileage on a U-joint and you're going to be providing more torque. So the U-joint needs to absorb that torque. So I would definitely throw some new U-joints in there. It's super easy. It freaking takes 5 minutes. Don't let the guy say it's going to be an extra $500 or $1,000 because it's not. U-joints aren't that expensive, and you got the drive shaft out anyway. You could go by there and snap them in yourself. It's not freaking hard. Yeah, and U-joints are the weakest link. They suck. Pistol Pete is asking, and this is actually a great question. I've been asking this 1,000 times. Who changes flushing the brake fluid in your car? Honestly, I don't. I'm not a believer in it. Brake fluid does absorb moisture. I will say that. If you leave that system open, moisture will attack that system. However, if you're leaving the cap on and you've got, your brake line sealed and you've got everything tight, it's really not a big deal. And also, here's another thing. Okay, when you do a brake job and you compress the calipers, you're squeezing the calipers, they're leaving the lid off, and when you compress your calipers, you're pushing brake fluid out and it's exiting the reservoir. So you're getting some of that out there and replenishing and topping it off and bleeding the brakes and putting in new fluid. So it has never been a big deal to me. I know that's always recommended, but in my opinion, I think it's kind of folklore. That's my opinion. If you live in an extreme condition, super, super humid, you might do it, but here I don't mess with it. I really don't. And honestly, if I'm bleeding the brakes for somebody back in the day, I would compress the calipers. I would compress, the rear calipers. I would crack a line and I would just pump it out, basically pump it out and put a new bottle in it. That's pretty much a brake flush. That's all it is. When they hook the machine up to it, here's where you can run into problems. When they hook the machine up to it and they're pushing a pressurized line through there, that can actually, for your O-rings, it's not designed to have that much pressure. So it can actually create problems. And that's what you don't want to do. So that's the way, that's the way I've always done it. Yeah, you can use a turkey baster. If you just want to remove it from the reservoir. But like I said, if you crack the lines on your calipers and just pump it, you're going to pump that shit out of there and you're going to top it off. You're going to bleed the brakes anyway. So it's not that big of a deal. I just kind of think it's another cash grab, in my opinion. But let's see here if I missed something. But yeah, I'm actually kind of looking. I've been looking. I think I've brought this up on a chat before. I've been kind of looking for a K5 Blazer. I really want to restore one. I do want it drivable, and you gotta follow me on this one. I do want it drivable, so I'd like it to have at least the what were they back in the day, a 5.0. I think a lot of them had 5.0s. Some of them had 350s, but I do want it to have a drivable engine and transmission. I do want it four-wheel drive. And what I want to do is LS swap it, LS6, LS3, I don't know for sure yet, a crate motor swap, take it to Dana axles. That's what I want to do. I want to up the transmission, of course, the drive shaft. I do want to lift it depending on, I don't want to do a monster lift anymore. I'm not really into that anymore. Probably like a 3-inch suspension lift. And I do want to LS swap it. And I want to do like a cool paint job on it, or have some, I'm not a painter, so I would have somebody else paint it. I would just do the mechanical. But what I want to do is get it to where it's drivable. I can kind of enjoy it now. and kind of play with it and then build the motor in the garage. Or if I do crate it, get the crate, eventually swap it over. The only thing that I would run into if I'm going to LS swap it, I would have to up the transmission. So it would be pulling the engine and the transmission. Of course, there's motor mount conversions, no big deal for an LS swap. But I would like to do that. If I could find the right K5, the ones I've looked at are, even for just basic entry, man, they're just asking a fortune for those now, which I get it. They've really creeped up in demand. But, I just want to bump into maybe like the little old lady. I'm not going to rip her off or him off if it's a little old man. But I kind of want to bump into something like that, so I put some feelers out to some people if they bump into anything. But the ones I've looked at are not cheap. I've looked at some completely restored ones. They were not restored like I would want to do them. And I would want to do them a little at a time. Hell, I might even start a third channel if I decide to do this. And it would be completely car. Maybe y'all would be interested in that. But it would be more so just for me, and I would film some stuff. But, I really enjoy those. I've looked at the Scouts. They're asking completely stupid money for them. And I would definitely hop that engine up in the Scout because that thing's a metal beast. But, kind of want to do some stuff like that. Yep, and that's what I've done Pranic too. Just foot it out. Damn, here we go. As far would you go to get one, neighbor has an orange and white one in the drive. Ooh, that would be cool. I definitely would paint it orange. I don't know if y'all know that. I would probably do the orange and white or orange and black. I would paint it something that I want it. It wouldn't have to be factory, but I would sand it down. I would strip it. I would prime it. I would prep it for the paint. I would even pull the glass. I would pull all the moldings. I would do all of that and literally have it ready to roll into the paint booth. And if that's the case, I might even strip the motor out and the transmission out and the underneath out and have a rotisserie paint done to where, they're spinning it. And that way I could get the engine painted as well, or the engine interior area painted as well. But that's what I would like to do. Yeah, Brian, definitely. Send me a picture tomorrow, man. I'm not afraid to drive and pick something up. I got access to a trailer pretty quick. So, yeah, the engine bay. Oh, the original paint job. Damn, it's awesome. Yeah, because when I strip stuff to paint, I pull the doors completely off. I would pull the roof completely off the K5. I would want all the jams done. I would pull the carpet out of it. I would even want it painted in the frame underneath the carpet. I'd put new juke padding in it, new carpet. I would, like, when I retro something for myself, I retro it. I don't patch it. I've done some really nice resto vehicles. I did a 69 Cutlass 442. I've done several vehicles completely ground up and rotisserie. That's what they're called. I've put them on rotisseries. I've set them up on the rotisseries, but like, again, I don't paint. I do not have the patience to paint to where it comes out good. If I painted it, it'd look like dog shit. I'm just being honest with you. I'm not a painter. Pistol Pete, trust me, that's one car I have always wanted, but I have never had. And I have always wanted a freaking GTO Judge. I have always wanted one. I love the freaking GTO Judge. It is a fabulous car. I've had a Tempest, a Pontiac Tempest. I've had a Cutlass, but I've never had a GTO. Exactly. They are. I know some really good body guys. I'm not worried about that. I know some guys that I've used in the past. They're good friends of mine. I used to work with them and they can paint. So I am not worried about getting it done. But I would prep it. I would sand it. I would do I don't want a Bondo car. I'm not a Bondo guy. I'm not filling shit and, with freaking screen and all that. I want a good body, a non-salt area body if possible. And that's the ones I've looked at. The one I looked at was completely restored, but it was restored with a small block 350, which there's nothing wrong with that engine. I just really want an LS because if I put Dana's on it, it can pull some power, and that's what I want. Um, but man, that thing was 69 or 60. It was 69 or $68,000, and I was like, holy shit! But I mean, it was immaculate, but it was a tricked out 350 small block. So I would personally just rather go with an LS. And when you do that, um, when I used to trick out these cars and do them, I would get the antique auto insurance, having them appraised, not for liability. I had full coverage on these cars, but I would have them appraised for the actual true value of the car. If you get liability, you're going to get reamed in the butt if somebody crashes into it. And that's the bad thing. I would drive these cars. I'd be rolling down the road and people are craning their necks. I mean, almost breaking their necks looking at these cars. And they'll just freaking swerve right into you. And you take out a car like that that's not replaceable or, easily accessible for parts, you're screwed. And that's the thing. It's Haggerty. I always went with Haggerty. And I use the Haggerty insurance to where they're giving you the true value of the car because I did have a guy hit one of my cars. And when he hit it good. Um, and that car was not easily replaceable. So they paid out on it the full amount that it was worth, which I was happy about. And then I bought the car back and then I fixed it. Um, but it was freaking, this was back in the day, but it was 3 years. It was 3 or 4 years to find all the freaking parts. And I just don't want to go through that shit again. I'm too old for that shit. Yeah, Haggerty's good. Wow. But I can get that Scout for 17.5. Doesn't need any work, but you can shine it up if you want. I definitely love a Scout. I kind of would. I mean, I love a Scout. Don't get me wrong. I could trick that out too, but kind of wanting a K5 just for the extra room and to be able to take the roof off. And I know you can on a Scout too, but Scout parts are even harder to find. I have access to a lot of K5 parts. I don't have access to a lot of Scout parts. But let me know, man. Shoot me some information, Brian. I'm not opposed to it at all. But I am really wanting. I even told the wife, I'm like, man, I want to get another car. She's like, okay, whatever. I just don't know. I don't want to go the hot rod aspect, the true hot rod, because of insurance reasons. My life insurance won't let me do that anymore. So that's why I thought, well, shit, I can get a Scout and trick it out and get pretty damn close to, having a hot rod / 4-wheel drive toy. Yeah, and my buddy, and y'all know him. I'm not going to say his name, but his dad just bought what is it, the new Enos or whatever, the Grenader or whatever. He just picked his up tonight, so I think that's pretty cool. So he was calling me after his dad picked it up, and I was talking to him about it, and his dad said he really likes it. The Enos Grenader or whatever. It's that kind of Safari Land looking G wagon thing. That hit the spot. I needed that this evening. Oh, I'm sure it does, but that's just like Brian. That's like me with guns. I always got to tweak something. I'm sure it's awesome. I have no reason it wouldn't be, but I've always, I'm a mechanical guy, and I've always got to play around with it. I always got to trick out something. I actually had a '69 El Camino. I had the SS 396, but I had a problem fitting in it. It wasn't the most comfortable thing because there's not a lot of leg room in there. But man, those were great vehicles. Damn, got total for a T-bone car in his backyard. He cries when he talked about, oh shit, man. I sold mine. Mine was a 396 SS. 1969. I love that car, man. It was super freaking fast. It wasn't stock. It was not a true 396. It was bored and stroked, but it was super fast, super fun. Had ladder it, and that back in the day, you had to put ladder bars on it. I didn't like it, but you had to do that so I could get traction because it had no weight in the rear end. But those are fun cars. So, and with the Ranchero coming out, this is a prediction. I do not know this, but with the Ranchero coming out with Ford, I'm wondering if Chevy might throw out the El Camino again. I'm really wondering that. I kind of thought about that. There's a 396 SS, had a 454, yeah. What's crazy is back in the day, a lot of people had 454s. I'll never forget Chevy came out with the 454 SS Chevy pickup, the single cab, everybody threw a fit over it. That piece of shit had 210 horsepower out of a 454 block back in the day. I had a buddy who bought one way back in the day, brand new. And I was like, you realize that 454 has freaking 210 or 220 horsepower out of that piece of shit? And he was like, what? No, it has 400. And I was like, no, it doesn't. It does not. So anyway, he finally looked it up and he was like, holy shit, you're right. And I'm like, that is a shame. That is freaking a shame that they come out with a big block and it's got freaking 210 or 220 horsepower. Ooh, I got 2 kids. Yeah, Brian, hit me up. I mean, shoot me some pictures, and I'm not opposed. I'm really wanting a K5, but just because I know what I can do with it. You're very limited on the Scout because of the engine bay size versus the K5. That's the only thing. And you're also very limited on the Scout, what you can do as far as souping it up because of just, you just can't fit a lot under it. FNX10. Yeah. IROC Z Camaro. Yep, they were trash too. We had a friend of ours. It was my wife's roommate. She had a new IROC Z with T-tops. And I was like, man, and I drove it and I'm like, this thing's so freaking underpowered. I did some work on it and made it a little faster for her, but she wanted to keep everything pretty much kind of stock as far as the engine. But I mean, they were cool cars back in the day, but like the TA66, or the Smokey and the Bandit car. I mean, god dang, you could do so much with that 403. I mean, I tricked out so many of those freaking cars. A buddy of mine had one, and man, I made that thing super freaking fast. But it did take a lot of money too. I mean, back in the day. But it was a great vehicle. But that's the thing also, where I was thinking getting something to where I could still drive it, build the engine in the garage, pull it in, spend a day and a half, doing an engine swap, maybe a tranny, call a buddy over to help me, just line everything up. Because when you're pulling the cherry picker in, which I don't have access, or I have access to a cherry picker, I just don't own one anymore. But I can build it on an engine stand. I still have a stand. It's kind of a half-ass stand, but I can get some attachments for mine. It's a compact stand, but I can still get some attachments and build it up and have it ready to drop in. I just need to get a cherry picker, but that's not a big deal. I can go pick one up from a buddy of mine, or I could even take it to his shop and use his at the shop. I just have to tow the vehicle to the shop. Yeah, T-tops were a freaking nightmare. Man, everybody was like, oh, I got my T-tops. I'm like, those are the biggest pieces of shit. Matter of fact, that TA that I did on Chad's car, that thing leaked like a sieve. I mean, you'd go in through a car wash, it would just start pouring water into that car. Well, Pranic, his 6.6 it didn't handle like a brick after I got finished with it, but stock, yeah, they weren't out in Denton. We used to run the back roads of Denton, and man, we had that car I won't say the speed, but we had it way excessive after I souped it up. But that thing, and the bad thing, Chad, he always burned the tires off of it, and they were always bald. Every time I got in that car, the freaking tires were bald. So I'm surprised I'm still alive, honestly. Hello, Matt Moore. How are you? Long time no see, brother. Hope you're doing good. Oh, shit. Clyde said, I've got a K10 with BDS 3-inch lift, 1510 rims on 33 tires. Oh, damn, dude. What color is it, Clyde? You got to tease me, man. That's awesome, dude. Congratulations, man. Those are awesome. What color is it? I'm curious. Matt Moore said, I had a 97 WS6. Those were awesome cars, too. And of course, the T-tops leaked. Man, that car was a sweet car. Those are sweet cars, man. Oh, I see your new little picture. That's awesome, man. No, well, Pranic, they still kind of are. If you go the back one that goes all the way to University, the back roads, it's still because you can go through. Well, I mean, you could actually go through Goatman's Bridge if anybody's in the area. They know where Goatman's Bridge is. You can still kind of go back there. That's a little back roadsy, but yeah, it's not like it used to be back in the day. Oh, Shogun, I've seen that. I haven't watched it though. I did watch The Beekeeper. And that was kind of a cool show. I mean, it was a shoot 'em up show and stuff like that. It was pretty good. I kind of liked it. I mean, was it fabulous, state of the art? Not really, but it was pretty cool. If anybody hasn't seen it on Amazon Prime, they might want to check it out. Yeah, it's funny you say that, Pranic. We used to cruise University back in the day when you used to like Saturday nights, Friday nights, cruise up and down University. Yep, I was out there with some cars and running them and racing them. Then we'd go over to the graveyard and race over there too, on the outside of the graveyard in Denton. And also on the service road of 35, we had a quarter-mile track striped off. So it's a little past where Bowers Precision is. So it's kind of, I'm trying to think of the name of that place, the DeWalt. I think not DeWalt. What the hell's the name of that? It's that where they sell clothes. They got like fireman's pants and shit like that. I can't ever think of the name of that store. But it's a little past that, and then it would go all the way down to a realty company. And that we had it marked off as exactly a quarter mile. And we used to line up there and race them on Friday and Saturday nights. I ran a lot of cars out there back in the day. Now, that was 100 years ago, so I can't be held liable for any of that anymore because, it's been way over 7 years. But yeah, we got some crazy speeds out there. Yeah, the only reason I do the Amazon Prime is because of the shipping, so I can get it a lot quicker. Anyone do clone builds? Anyone do clone builds? I recently finished a Polish girl with all the military goodies. Parts are ridiculously expensive, but it's done. No, I don't do clone builds, but that's awesome, man. No, the other side, Pranic, the other side of the highway. So it's right there at University, and as you come up, where what is it, the Bud Light plant, I think, is out there. But it starts at the wall, where you're crunching your nuts in their underwear or something. You're not crunching your nuts in their underwear. It's right down from Bauer Precision on the service road all the way to the realty company that we had it marked off for a quarter mile. So it's on the opposite side of where they're doing the repairs. But yeah, every Friday and Saturday night, we were out there. We're in a bunch of cars and won a bunch of money out there. Shit, I don't drink that shit. If I drink beer, it's Shiner. Matter of fact, I like Shiner Blonde, and I kind of posted a picture over on my barbecue channel when I was doing the 4th of July cook. I was cooking hamburgers and kebabs, steak kebabs. My wife bought me a new seasonal beer. It's Shiner. It's called Shanny. So it's beer mixed with lemonade, and I'd never had that before. I've had the summer shandy when I was in Wisconsin, and it was good. Uh, but I tried it, and I was like, man, shit's actually good on a freaking hot day. It was like 103 degrees or 104 degrees. I don't know what the heat index was, but it was freaking hot when I was cooking, and I was pounding those things. And I'm not even a beer drinker, but I was actually like, these things are pretty good. She bought me a 6 pack, so. Duluth. Yes, Rich B, that you are correct. It's Duluth Trading Company. So it's kind of past the Duluth all the way to the Realtor Company in Denton. That's where I used to run it out there. Got one off the coffee table. But yeah, it's about 8:05. Do y'all, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you want to see something like you're like, hey, stick to guns, leave that comment. If you're like, hey, I do want to see other stuff, because I thought, I do a lot of traveling and stuff, and I go to some pretty cool restaurants, and I have some favorites that are not well known. And I thought, man, maybe I'll start throwing up, and I could do it on the barbecue channel, but I thought about throwing up some of those. The places I really like to eat, that it's like if I'm driving through that area, I've got to stop there for barbecue or the best burgers or whatever. I thought about throwing some of those things up there. Not so much as like sitting there and eating and doing some of that stuff, but just kind of showing you like, hey, here's a really great place. I love it. Here's what I like here. If y'all want to start seeing some of that stuff, I might throw that up on the barbecue channel. But I also thought when I do pick up my truck and I'm driving back, I might do some videos like on the way, just kind of in the truck and saying, hey, here's where I am. Here's the states I'm going through. Here's a place I stopped to try. It sucked or it was good. If y'all want to know, if y'all are interested in that, if you're not interested in that, let me know. I totally get it. I did that Motorplex drag strip, the Richard Petty experience. I did that like, God, what was that? Like freaking 10 years ago or 8 years ago. Uh, that was really cool. I had a really great time doing that. I've been out there to the Good Guy shows. I've shown cars out there before. Um, I've done the Pate swap meets out there before. I enjoy that. I mean, used to be big into that. Not so much anymore. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate you. Thanks, Brandon. But yeah, if y'all are interested in that, let me know. Let's see here. Just do a little of everything, in my opinion, but allow some gun talk if it comes up. No, I'm not. I'm a gun guy. Y'all know that. I love guns. I'm not going to go away from guns. Don't take this the wrong way. I just, there's other parts of my life that I really enjoy. I have other hobbies. I have other things I enjoy. And a lot of people just know me for gun stuff only. Um, so I was just going to, see if y'all are interested in mixing some of the other stuff in there. If not, that's cool. I get it. Um, you know, Rich, it's going to be a 15-hour drive. I'm going way the hell up there and driving back. So, yeah, it's going to be. And I thought, this would be the perfect time to do a really kind of like a maybe even a live chat. I mean, not why, I'm not talking about being, putting myself or other people in danger. I'm not talking about that, but maybe, just like, hey, I'm driving down the road, maybe not take a lot of questions, but hey, I'm in this state now, blah, blah, blah. I stopped at this place and then I showed the place, to spend the night or to eat or whatever. If y'all are interested in like a road kind of trip kind of video like that, if y'all are interested, let me know. If you're not, let me know. Like I said. Hello, Fina. How are you? Spice it up, she says. CVT transmission suck. Changed my mind. Depends on the car and what you're using it for, the vehicle and what you're using it for. They're not my favorite, but they're not completely horrible if they're taken care of and driven correctly. I'll just say that. I just thought it might be interesting and y'all might get a kick out of it. Like I said, it'd be something different. I would be flying there, picking up the vehicle, driving it back. So I thought, hey, why not do a little blog kind of thing? Just so y'all can, maybe I'll do a walk around on the truck, kind of show you everything, show you, what it is. It's not a cheap truck. It's a very expensive truck, but that's what I wanted, and that's what they made happen. So I'm pretty excited about it whenever I get it. So hopefully, I'm thinking probably a week or two, hopefully. Staccato should pin their grip safety. They're not going to for liability reasons, but I agree. I mean, it's not for everybody, and some people, just like Greg and I, when he was on here, we had a conversation, and it fits his hand perfectly, but my hands are bigger than his, and it does not fit my hand perfectly. Matter of fact, we talked about it when I grab his guns every freaking time. I can't turn them off because of my hands. So it definitely becomes a nuisance. Matter of fact, I am going to be, how can I say this? I am going to be, I have a big bag of goodies that I'm going to be letting him try out. Uh, it has 2 items in it. It has a big bag of mags. It has a lot of grips, and he's going to be testing out something of mine that he's interested in. So I will be probably getting that to him sometime tomorrow. We'll be meeting up, and I'm going to let him use them and see what he thinks. There will be competition stuff involved. So anyway, I'm going to let him see what he thinks. So Lake Ozarks, okay. It's 15 hours away from where I live. I don't really want to say the state because I can't meet everybody, of course. Once I get there, I might, y'all will, if you follow along, y'all will definitely know I'm not going to hide it. But I don't want to say all that yet because the person I'm picking up from lives there. I mean, I'll say the state once I'm there, but I won't say the town. But yeah, it's 15 hours away from where I am, so it's going to be a long drive. I'm not going to do it in a day. I've done it before, but there's no reason to do that. I will probably stretch it out a couple of days. And, I just thought it might be fun to do something like this and let everybody be involved with it. Something different, an area I haven't been to or part of an area for a while I haven't really been to, but I think it'll be fun. It's up north. Let's just say that. It's a friendly, let me rephrase that. It's a northern friendly area. I'll say that. So that'll probably give it away for a lot of people who might live there. Paper hole puncher, yep. But anyway, it's 8:13. We'll go ahead and shut this down. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, anything you want to see on the channel, let me know. Also, I do plan to try to get to the range this weekend. I have got to test these out. This is the new Brick Arms sledgehammer. This is the new charging handle they came out with, and this does break up gas for the suppressors. So I'm going to be testing these. And also, just so you know, I'm going to do a giveaway. I don't do giveaways. Y'all know that. But I asked them if they would send in an extra one so I could do a giveaway. And they're going to allow me to. So I've got an extra one here. So it will be brand new in the box. These aren't cheap. But I'm going to be giving one of those to my normal subscribers. I'm not going to advertise, like do a video, hey, I'm going to do a giveaway. What I'm planning on doing is giving away on one of my chats. So if you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and you subscribe to my channel, you might win one of these. But I'm going to do it. I asked them if they would send an extra one in to do a giveaway. I've got a code with them also. If you can't wait and you want to buy one, you can use my code, go to the website, use BJGG10. It'll save you 10% off anything on their website. They do other things as well. but I'm going to be testing this out. And I've got to test some dots out. I've got a new dot set up as well for a rifle. So I'll go ahead and let you know about that. I'm going to be testing that out. But I've got to shoot some stuff, test some stuff, see what I think about it. I'm going to be beating it on the counter, beating it on the wall, doing some other stuff like that, not just, not just shooting it 3 times and going, yeah, it's good. I don't do that. Y'all know that. And it could take more than multiple visits. Pistol Pete saying New Jersey, Idaho, Montana. You're incorrect on all of those, Pistol Pete. It is in need of paint, but two-tone Carolina blue and gray. There we go, factory. But yeah, anyway, like I said, cars, whiskey, and life. I'm just going to break it up a little bit. And of course, we talked about the M&P 2.0. I think it's a great option if anybody's interested in it. I think y'all all enjoy it. But anyway, I've got some stuff I'm going to be testing, and we'll test that stuff out hopefully this weekend. I am going to be seeing my dad. And my wife, my wife made my dad, his favorite pie is a buttermilk custard pie. So she made him a pie, and he's infatuated with it, so he wants more. So I'm going to be spending some time with him on Saturday. So I'm hoping to go like Saturday afternoon and do some shooting. Hopefully that'll work out. But anyway, I do plan on testing these suppressed, of course. And we'll see what I think about it, because I've tested their other ones and I really like them. But this is their new Sledgehammer, and it's supposed to vent gas away from you even better. So, and I have already had, just so you know, and I've got him included in the video. I've already got his videos. I let a friend borrow one, and he shot it. He was really impressed with it. So, but y'all have a chance to win it. Just the subscribers here. Like I said, I'm not going to advertise it. We'll try to keep it in the family. I don't need all the giveaway whores coming over here just to win something and then go away. That's not what it's about. I'm not built like that. I don't care about that shit. I would just like y'all to have something nice if you win it. We'll figure out a way to do it. It's a random thing, or pick a number. I write a number down. Y'all pick numbers and we hold it up, or do something like that. We'll figure it out. But yeah, it's not Oklahoma. It's far up there. But anyway, and it's not Illinois. Illinois is not friendly. But anyway, I appreciate y'all so much. Have a great evening. Love one another, all that good stuff. And remember, an unarmed nation is a very weak nation. So we all got to carry on. Thanks, everyone. Y'all take care. Have a great night. And I will not be on next Wednesday. Remember that. So we'll make it up one night during the week, whether it be a Friday chat or something like that. We'll figure it out. Y'all take care. It's not Iowa Redbird. I appreciate y'all. Y'all take care.